Ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to meet Aries.
Are we allowed to him?
That depends on your definition, Stuart.
I expected dumb, but I didn't expect Madam Web levels of writing. This film is shit. Now I went in hoping for at least a few things. Good visuals, maybe a pumping soundtrack, maybe a dumb but fun story. Instead, I got visuals with zero original ideas, a soundtrack used like a sonic assault weapon, and one of the worst casts I've ever seen. Let's start with the soundtrack, because that's what everyone seems to be talking about. A lot was riding on this score. 9 Inch Nails taking over after Daft Punk delivered one of the best soundtracks ever seen on screen.
Game has changed, son of Flynn!
Now the music itself, well, it's really good, but the way it's used in this movie, it's like the editor was paid per decibel. There's no build-up, no nuance, it's just blasted at you every chance they get, and it starts early. Yes, early on, our billionaire genius feminist protagonist flicks on a generator switch. Nothing exciting about that, is there? Wrong. Apparently this is the most epic generator in cinematic history, because the soundtrack explodes like she just turned on the Earth's core. Every time anyone does anything, the soundtrack goes to 11. And when the movie tries to be emotional, still 11. And when they do go all serious, man, I haven't heard a shift in tone like that since Attack of the Clones.
It was about entertainment and profits, and her work was about improving the exposition.
Now I understand.
Now before the 9 Inch Nails fans start crying into their eyeliner, relax, I'm a fan too. So much so that I'm the only weirdo that prefers Trent Reznor's version of Hurt over the Johnny Cash cover. Oh great, now I've upset the Johnny Cash fans. Anyway, confused by why I didn't like the music in the film and worried that Trent Reznor had let me down, I played the soundtrack on the drive home. And it's great, so it's not Trent Reznor's fault. It's just that the film's sound mix is trash, and unlike Tron Legacy, which had some balls and stuck with Daft Punk the whole way through, the producers of this film couldn't help themselves. They had to have a bit of the old man MCU flavour, because nothing says gaming launch like fucking Black Sabbath. Now, I love a bit of the Sabbath, but for God's sake, does every Disney film have to feel like it's part of the MCU? Let Tron be Tron, and stop asking the old men at Disney what their favourite songs are. Now the cast. Every casting choice in this film is terrible. This has to be one of the worst cases of boardroom diversity casting I've ever seen. Not because of who they cast, but why. You see, I don't care what colour you are, but you have to fit the story, and you need a bit of charisma. Every actor in this film feels like they were only picked for their look, and not because they can act. And it really shows. Greta Lee plays Eve, the motorcycle-riding genius billionaire who saved Encom. Yes, fuck you, Sam Flynn. Yes, Eve rides a motorbike just like Sam. Apparently that's her personality, except she looks about as natural on a motorcycle as I do in a yoga class. At one stage, she flies home from her remote lab where she's been for months, gets off her private jet, and immediately hops on a motorcycle. You know, because Sam Flynn had one. It's the most boardroom idea of cool I've ever seen. Now if our billionaire tech genius had got off her long flight and then got into a limo that was then cut in half by a light cycle, that would have been way more believable. But forcing her onto a motorcycle after her mountain expedition just because Sam Flynn had one looked ridiculous. But you just know, the producers really thought they were ticking off those boxes on the strong female lead checklist. But her getting on the bike after a long trip is nothing, because at one point she becomes Batman, taking down a thug with her motorbike in the most perfectly choreographed stunt move ever done by a random civilian. She also instantly masters riding one of the light cycles, just like how Rey mastered the Millennium Falcon. Instantly. No training, no surprise, just instant greatness. Because, of course she can. One of her main problems is that nothing surprises her. She meets an artificial human, is kidnapped with a gun that converts her into a digital copy, witnesses the grid world, survives attempted murder, escapes the grid world, and then is reassembled as a human being again. She does all that, and she barely looks surprised. She gets digitized, kidnapped, meets an artificial human, escapes a murder attempt, and barely blinks. The whole time Shaq's like, she's seen the other movies, which is a pet hate of mine. Writers, for fuck's sake. Characters should know they're in a sequel, especially when they haven't been in the other two movies.
Burning Man?
No, it's temperature controlled.
Then there's Jared Leto as Aries. Hollywood seems convinced that Jared Leto is cool. The rest of the planet disagrees. Every shot is a slow motion brooding close-up like a vodka ad for midlife crisis. And I have to ask, why does a program have a beard? Why does it have long hair? Oh, that's right, because Jared Leto has long hair and a beard. In Tron Legacy, programs looked sleek, clean, stylish. Now they look like they're about to headline Coachella. I get it. I get that a lot of the charm of Tron, and especially Tron Legacy, comes from how stylized it all looks. Everything is clean and sexy. Remember when films were allowed to be sexy? This one isn't. The clean cut look for programs, as well as the original idea that the programs look like the people that program them, just makes the world more believable. Jared Leto looking like Jared Leto doesn't help make the world look more believable. And all the meaning they try and give him is hollow and baseless. He just knows things. And he just loves the 80s.
Classic.
He loves retro. He loves Depeche Mode. We don't know why. He just does. Now I know it's because he's meant to be developing feelings, but we need to see that development in the bloody film. But hold on. Instead of me talking about this cinematic nightmare, let me take a minute to tell you about a real life digital asset that can protect you from the real world grid. A great little program called Delete Me. Delete Me is a hands-free service that removes your personal information from hundreds of data broker and people search sites, reducing the risk of your important data getting into the wrong hands. And trust me, there hasn't been a time you need this more. Identity theft, scams, phishing attempts, harassment, and doxing are all on the rise. One of the worst offenders are search sites. They collect personal information like your name, address, phone numbers, even your relatives' names, and then sell it to literally anyone that has a credit card. That's not good, but that's where Delete Me come in. Delete Me have been the leading experts in personal identifiable information removal for over 15 years. Their software continuously removes your data using their own tech, and they don't outsource to any third parties, so your data is always safe with them. And importantly, you can have multiple family members on one account. Delete Me also have privacy advisors who are real people. Yes, can you believe it? You can talk to a real person, and they're available for custom requests as well as helping you when you need it. So why wouldn't you sign up? Go to joindeleteme.com/robothead and get 20% off Delete Me consumer plans when you use the promo code ROBOTHEAD at checkout. Or you can use the QR code on screen. That's joindeleteme.com/robothead, code ROBOTHEAD. Rest easy tonight knowing that your identity is safe with Delete Me. As for all the other characters, well, they ticked every diversity hire cliche. The smart Asian chick, the androgynous black woman, the goofy sidekick, who could be South American, the Indian tech owner, and the over-the-top white villain, who shouts about how amazing he is the whole time. All of it. It's all the definition of Disney corporate boardroom writing slop. Now, all this might be fine if the performances were great, but my God, does that director need a good talking to, because every performance is atrocious. Even Gillian Anderson, whom I'm a big fan of. But no, they're all terrible. And we must give a special shout out to Jodie Turner-Smith, who you might know from The Acolyte. Wow, every line from her is a struggle. Every expression she's lost. Though I do like that every time she puts her helmet on, she turns into a de-aged Samuel Jackson. Now to the script. Exposition the movie. My God, the writing. I'm not joking when I say it's Madam Web levels of cringe. Every bloody line is exposition. And not background info, not context, no. Characters are literally explaining what's happening as it's happening. It's like they think the audience has the attention span of a goldfish. Nobody talks like a human being. It's just characters describing the plot to each other for 2 hours. No one has a natural conversation with another person. There are literally 2 scenes that could be classed as conversations, big air quotes there, and they both are about Depeche Mode. Don't worry, Depeche Mode fans, I'm on your side too. Movies should show their story, not just tell it to us. But if something does need explaining, that explanation should be for the audience, not for the other characters in the story so they can catch up with the audience.
What happened back there?
For clarity, we saw everything that happened back there. It should be totally obvious what happened, as Aries' friends tried to kill him. But for some reason, the writers want to fill the script with explaining everything we've just seen.
I disobeyed my directive.
Which was?
To retrieve the code from your disk and delete the carrier.
My God, instead of a full explanation of what we had just seen, all he needed to say was, they now also want me dead. Or, I never liked taking orders anyway. Something brief that gives the character some personality and moves the story forward, not a retelling of what we just watched.
Dillinger told you to delete me?
God, the acting. I've never seen 2 characters with less chemistry. And that was the best take.
It's Athena. As long as the Dillinger network is online, she'll keep coming. If she gets me, she gets the permanence code.
We know all of this. It's 1 hour and 30 minutes into the film. There's only 10 minutes left, and they are explaining the story again.
The laser. Athena's laser. The Dillingers run a wireless direct link protocol. So let's use what's left of the laser to ping the network and trace the path home. Once you have a connection, then you can nuke the whole Dillinger grid. And that's the only way to stop her. For good.
At one stage, I started thinking that the dialogue had been taken from a stock audio library because there are so many cliched lines that felt like AI. Lines like, I'll buy you some time, and you've got this. And we even get an ADR. This is the police. We have you surrounded. Open the door and come out with your hands up. Are we watching Dick Tracy? It's getting to a point where Hollywood writing is now so bad that AI will actually improve it. So go humans. Now, one thing they really get wrong in this film that they avoided in the other two films is the interaction between the real world and the grid world, because in this, it's another disaster. You have to try and keep them separate. Tron Legacy understood this. Once we're in the grid, you stay there. But in Tron Ares, we keep cutting back and forth from the real world to the digital grid world. And every time we do, it feels more stupid. There's a scene where the villain is typing on a computer, trying to hack into Eve's servers. All of a sudden, we cut to inside the grid, where we get to see 5 little programs climbing up a building. They're meant to be the digital version of the hacking taking place. It instantly makes the idea of Tron look stupid. Hacking is meant to be fast-paced, but everything slows to a crawl, so our programs can physically break into the computer. Now, I know time in the grid is supposed to work differently to real-world time, but the director doesn't seem to know this because he keeps showing the interactions happening in real time. That's the problem with showing the real world communicating with the digital world. Everything has to slow down to a snail's pace. Every command has to be typed out manually. We even get a warning text before every message, because nothing says the future of technology like getting a text that says you're about to get a text. Did someone's dad write this?
Where is Master Control?
Now, of course, with the Tron universe, we have to really suspend disbelief, but the back and forth interactions between the real world and the grid world in this film really highlights how stupid the whole setup is. If you want it to work, gotta keep those two worlds separate. And the biggest question, where the hell's Tron? The movie's called Tron Ares, and there's no Tron. Instead, they hand Sam Flynn's story to Eve, that's great, and Kiora's story to Ares. Only problem being, we cared about Sam and Kiora. We don't give two shits about Eve and Ares. They're strangers to each other and to us. This is another example of Disney having a problem with having any sexual tension or relationship between heterosexuals.
Go!
And I know, everyone's going to talk about how great this film looks, but as far as the action goes, it's pretty bland. Plus, all the best parts are in the trailer. The big light cycle chase only has one cool moment, which is in the trailer, and it ends crashing through a pile of boxes like an 80s TV show. I know Ares likes the 80s, but did he have to reenact it? And the big final, Eve distracts the Recognizer by running around in front of it. Why did she think that would work? Why did the director think that would be exciting? Well, it was slightly more exciting than when Eve survived execution because some sprinklers went off. I don't think action is this director's strong suit. The idea of an artificial human having a limited lifespan could have been really interesting. Every trip back he learns a little more and gets closer to achieving his goals. Think of Tom Cruise in Edge of Tomorrow. But that takes good writing. We don't have that here.
What?
Tron Ares is a corporate, committee-built mess. It's dumb, soulless, and completely misunderstands what made Tron Legacy great. There's no new ideas, no energy, and no heart. Just a pile of cliched characters and broken logic. But it does have a pumping soundtrack. So just listen to the soundtrack and flash a torch in your face, because that'll be more fun. But if you do have the need to watch pretty lights, accompanied by loud noises that are trying to melt your brain, congratulations, you found your movie. But for everyone else, Tron Ares is a shocker.